You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife, the Bodyguard 2. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Many of you will be familiar with The Bodyguard, which was a 1992 American romantic drama thriller film directed by Mick Jackson. It starred Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston in her acting debut, and it followed a former United States Secret Service agent turned bodyguard who is hired to protect a famous actress and singer from an unknown stalker. It was released on the 25th of November 1992 and grossed $411 million worldwide, becoming the second highest-grossing film of 1992 behind Aladdin, and at the time of its release, the 10th highest-grossing film of all time. The film's accompanying soundtrack by Houston became the best-selling soundtrack album of all time, with sales of over 45 million copies worldwide, and won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year. And, of course, is well known for the song I Will Always Love You. Clearly, a successful film. But the international news with the enigmatically named Web Desk tells us Harry's wife may enthrall fans in Kevin Costner's The Bodyguard sequel. Yes, some 30 years later, Kevin Costner is reportedly lining up Harry's wife for a sequel to his hit movie. The article explains Prince Harry's wife, could land the leading role in a sequel to 1992 classic movie The Bodyguard. Kevin Costner, 68, is reportedly lining up the Duchess of Sussex for a sequel to his hit movie. He previously had talks with Princess Diana about the same role. The legendary star, who has 2 Academy Awards, 3 Golden Globe Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award and 2 Screen Actors Guild Awards, is reportedly pitching the sequel, and a source claims Harry's wife is interested in the project. The only thing Kevin loves more than an underdog like Harry's wife is a box office hit. A source, known as Harry's wife, tells New Idea, or No Idea magazine. A source has claimed that Duchess of Sussex, Harry's wife, is interested in the project. If so, the story would be even more remarkable, as Princess Diana was previously being lined up for the role. Costner, who starred alongside the late Whitney Houston in the original movie, was in talks with Sarah Fergie Ferguson, Duchess of York, about bringing Diana on board for a sequel. Well, how about that then? The Guardian reported some time ago that Kevin Costner confirmed that the late Princess of Wales was set to star alongside him in a sequel to 1992 hit The Bodyguard. Speaking to People TV, Costner said back then that he, Diana, and producers were eager to get the project off the ground. The studio liked the idea of doing a Bodyguard 2, he said, with Diana taking on a role in the same kind of capacity as Whitney. Nobody really knew for about a year. In 2012, Costner first spoke about the project, explaining that the plot would have involved his character protecting Diana's from stalkers and paparazzi, before their relationship turned romantic. He said a first script for the project arrived on his desk the day before Diana was killed in a car crash on the 31st of August, 1997. Speaking to People, Costner recalled that he and Diana had discussed the film, in particular the possibility of intimate scenes. I just remember her being incredibly sweet on the phone, and she asked the question, "Are we going to have, like, a kissing scene?" Costner recalled, "She said it in a very respectful. She was a little nervous because her life was very governed, and I said, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of that, but we can make that okay too." Costner, 64, said talks had been initiated by Sarah Fergie Ferguson. Sarah was really important, he said. I always respect Sarah because she's the one that set up the conversation between me and Diana. And she never said, well, what about me? I'm a princess too. She was just so supportive of the idea. Accordingly, this is something that Harry's wife would indeed be interested in. a starring role, allowing her to assert control over the audience. Plenty of fuel to be gathered by way of people's responses to that starring role. The character trait acquisition, as once again she engages in the Diana duplication of channeling her dead mother-in-law. And finally, of course, the money. She would make money, which is that favourite residual benefit of hers. Interestingly, the fact is that Harry's wife would undoubtedly be very interested indeed in this particular project. Harry's wife believes that she's beautiful enough for the role, talented enough for the role, that she can sing magnificently, and also gets to channel the spirit of Diana also. Houston, in the original Bodyguard, was a huge star and a singer with a tremendous voice. She was only 29 at the time. Harry's wife isn't a huge star, except in her own deluded mind, can't sing like Houston, if indeed she can sing at all, and she's 41, or in her mid-40s, dependent upon who you might ask. Accordingly, it shows her level of delusion to believe that she could be comparable to Whitney Houston. It would appear that this is similar in terms of Harry's wife saying, if I say it, it will happen. That basically, if I want it to occur, it will manifest for me. Well, that worked with Dior, didn't it? As she issued a come and get me to Dior, which then resulted in Dior going, no, we haven't offered her anything. And then, of course, Harry's wife having to deal with that threat to control by claiming, oh, no, there was nothing there in the first place. And embarrassing, although she doesn't experience it, climb down. Harry's wife is certainly deluded enough to believe that she could play this role. And I suspect that there's been no discussion whatsoever with her, that she isn't even a consideration. After all, where is The Bodyguard 2 in terms of a remake? Well, Matthew Lopez is the scriptwriter, and he was interviewed by Variety back in June, and he was asked about a number of things. And he was asked, what's the latest with the remake of The Bodyguard? He replied, I turned in my script. I don't know where they are in the process. I know the producers have a passion for the film, and I hope it gets made. He was then asked, why did you want to remake the film? I sort of felt like I can only screw this up, so why not try it? The biggest difference is the original film is about an established star meeting a bodyguard. I thought, what if it's someone new to stardom? What if it's a young person like Billie Eilish when they're thrown into this world of celebrity and they're trying to figure out how to be famous and what's that like? Fame now is not what it was when the original came out. There was no social media then, and that's given people the illusion that they have access to movie stars and music stars. In 1992, when The Bodyguard came out, there were marketing departments and publicists, and they crafted an image for you, and then you were left alone to lead a private life if that's what you wanted. Today, it's like, if you don't have an Instagram account, do you even exist? So it would appear that the script's written for somebody young who is new to the fame game. Now, of course, an actress can play someone that's young and new to the fame game. But there is the suspension of disbelief, and then there's ridiculousness. Harry's wife, it would appear, would be far too old for the type of character that's been envisaged by the scriptwriter. Furthermore, are her acting chops up to it? She hasn't shouldered a major movie at all. And there are plenty of other people that would be more suitable for the role than her. She isn't good looking enough. She isn't a major enough star in her own right. She is the right age. And of course, there's a big question mark over her ability to sing. Remember, in the original Bodyguard, Costner wanted a singer rather than an actress who might also be able to sing. Now, most actors and actresses can also sing and often can dance as well because they do it all when they go to the relevant acting academy or stage school, etc. So people are often surprised to find that an actor or an actress can sing, but it's part of their overall makeup. Nevertheless, Houston was a singer. She wasn't an actress. And Costner wanted that, as it was a major part of the film. Harry's wife hasn't got that. So it doesn't seem that there's anything really happening with the film, and what the scriptwriter has stated certainly doesn't accord with the profile of someone like Harry's wife. Therefore, the suggestion that she would be involved very much smacks of I'll try and make it happen. Furthermore, if one checks out the in-production credits of Kevin Costner, Bodyguard 2 or the remake or whatever it might be called isn't even mentioned, which makes it seem like this is Harry's wife's publicity machine trying to garner some interest for her with this article and at the same time trying to make it happen. But there's further problems for her in relation to whether it would actually happen and involve her. The reason being is that when the prospective film was being discussed by Entertainment in September 2021, the suggestion was the Bodyguard remake will star young Latina in Whitney Houston's role. It was important to me to use this opportunity to get Latin faces up on that screen and to get their stories told in a big way, says the film's writer Matthew Lopez. So not only is he looking at somebody young, he's looking at somebody that is new to the fame game, as he just explained, he was also looking at the protagonist being Latina. He explained, when Warner Brothers approached me about the idea, I quickly said I would, but I wanted the protagonist to be Latina. They agreed to that. There's been a lot of speculation about what I'd bring to the remake, and some people were assuming that there'd be a gay storyline to it. Lopez is gay. He continued, instead of focusing on an established star like the one Whitney Houston played, this is about a young Latina performer who has just become famous. It was important for me to use this opportunity to get Latin faces up on that screen and to get their stories told in a big way. It's about how her life has changed because she is an overnight sensation. In the 21st century, that means she's in immediate need of protection. Harry's wife, she's not a Latina, although, of course, she believes that she could be that because she can be white, she can be black, she can be anything that she chooses to be, such is the chameleon nature of her. Accordingly, it doesn't look like there's anything actually happening with the film, other than a script has been turned in, which doesn't envisage someone of Harry's wife's lack of talent, Harry's wife's ethnicity, or Harry's wife's age being involved. But nevertheless, she's apparently interested in what is a transparent attempt to drum up interest for her and to try and make it happen. In actual fact, what it's probably going to be about is the necessity of protecting the general public from Harry's wife. That would make a much more interesting film. The necessity of overworked and understaffed individuals who have to run around on the planet trying to stop Harry's wife issuing PR puff pieces every single day, avoiding her from looking down a camera lens and intimidating and frightening small children. By turning it around and turning it into a story of protecting the general public from Harry's wife, that is certainly a role that she could play, and it would be far more entertaining. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.